Unscripted, unfiltered, unafraid. Welcome to the Macworld podcast. My name is Michael Simon, and I am joined, as always, by Jason Cross.
Good morning.
And our producer, Roman Loyola.
Ahoy there.
This is episode number 961. And today we're going to talk all about the folding iPhone because it actually seems like maybe, probably, kind of, possibly we're going to get one next year. Like it's been forever. We'll go through all the rumors and it's been like years and decades. Or
the
almost a decade.
Maybe there's a wolf this time.
Yeah, right. It seems like maybe like we can say it's coming next year. So we're going to talk all about it. There's a whole bunch of stuff we know, what we think we know, what we might know, clues and patents or whatever else. We'll talk about all that stuff. And then we're going to have a couple segments at the end, and we'll wrap up with our reader inbox mailbag. Have we decided what we're calling that yet? It's mailbag for now, but we'll workshop it. Speaking of the reader mailbag stuff, you can contact us through Blue Sky, Facebook, Threads. Search for Macworld. Look for the Blue Mouse logo. You can send an email to podcast@macworld.com. You can reply under or comment under a TikTok video, under a reel on Facebook, whatever. Just find some way to get in touch with us, and we'll talk about the most interesting, unique, fun, exciting comments next week. All right. 3 minutes, Roman. How was your Thanksgiving? Your 45 seconds.
It was good. Ate a lot, hung out with family. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. So I did not do any shopping this weekend.
Like in stores or at all?
At all.
Really?
So the only shopping I did was like buying food, which doesn't count.
For Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving?
After Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Do you host? Do you like people come to your house?
No. So we go to my side of the families for like lunch-ish, like around noon.
Yeah.
And I gorge myself there. And then in the evening, we go to my in-laws, and they have a big dinner. And then I gorge myself even more.
That's nice. Wait, is it turkey? Like, is it turkey and stuff both times, or is the lunch different than the dinner?
The lunch there is turkey, but I avoid the turkey. So.
Why is that?
Because I'm going to eat turkey, because there's only turkey at dinner.
Too much.
I see.
Whereas the lunch, since it's my side of the family, we have, we also have Filipino food. I'm Filipino. So we have, and I eat that.
Wait, do you have those little Hawaiian donuts at either of these meals?
Malasadas. We didn't have malasadas. So and then I spend all day Sunday in the bathroom just to make it gross.
That's good. So. Thanks for that. They say I read, or I think I was listening to the radio. They said the Friday is like colloquially known in the plumber world as Brown Friday, which you can guess why. But,
I've never heard that. I choose to believe that that's true.
Yeah, I'm right. I'm going to believe it as well. Jason, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was pretty good. Hang on. Excuse me. My family, my wife's family, live 1,000 miles away, so we don't, but we usually go to our next door neighbors. They do a big thing, and they have friends. But this year we didn't, because they're moving, and they didn't even do a whole Thanksgiving thing. They're moving in like another week. They're packing their houses full of boxes and stuff. So we have other friends in the neighborhood that live just a few doors down, and we went over to theirs. They had a bunch of friends over and everything, and their family, and they had all the typical stuff. They had, sweet potatoes and turkey and all the, just like a whole ton of stuff. So
you never cook for Thanksgiving?
It's been a while. It's been years. I would say probably something like 8 or 10 years ago. We a couple times did. Just like my wife and I, well, what do we want? She's vegetarian too, so we don't like. Okay. One, I wouldn't make a turkey anyways. It's
right. Well, they had that tofurkey stuff. Is that any good?
Yeah, so we've actually tried a few of them, and they're okay. They're not. Yeah. It's like one of those. It doesn't taste like turkey. but it does taste good. Like
the flavors, like rosemary and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got all that kind of stuff. And so there's some companies that make a couple good ones, and we've done those. But the best part of Thanksgiving dinner is the sides anyway.
Absolutely.
And it's easy to make those vegetarian. Vegan would be harder, but like as long as you're okay with cheese, you're good to go. Cheese and butter. You can do cheese and butter.
Starch in general,
great sides. So
for sure.
So that's what we used to make. But this year we went to our friends, and it was fine. And then we didn't really do anything else of importance. She worked all weekend. I did a bunch of chores. It was not exciting.
We go down to New York to. So it used to be my aunt's house, but she got sick this year. So my brother, for the first time, hosted it in his place, and it was nice. We brought a ton of food. We made all the sides. We made stuffing. We made mashed potatoes. We made sweet potatoes. We made a pumpkin pie. We bought a pumpkin pie. My wife made bread. Like we had this whole thing. I was exhausted. This was Wednesday night. And I'm like, we're not even hosting this year. And I'm exhausted. we do an every other year thing. So like my wife's mother visits us on the off years. And then we go down to see my family on the other years.
Right.
So, but it was really nice. I like Thanksgiving because there's no pressure to buy presents. You just sit and eat. Like it's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best holiday. There's, everything's good. Like it's really hard to screw up a turkey unless you cook it like for hours and hours and hours and hours. Like pour some gravy on it. It'll be fine.
I disagree. It's not hard to screw up a turkey.
Well, as long as there's gravy, though,
really
you
good.
Just pour it on top and it's fine.
Yeah, I guess.
So yeah, it was nice. The city's nice in like Christmas time. It's
true.
Like we usually stay a day. We didn't do that this year because I had to come back and work for Black Friday. But the city. I like if I could pick anywhere in the world to live that I can afford, I'd probably move to New York. But it's just out of my price range.
Yeah, it's kind of out of everyone's price range. Is the problem.
Yeah. My aunt has a rent controlled apartment in the Upper East Side. That's why she can live there. And my brother's a lawyer, and that's why he can live there. Otherwise, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving, or happy belated Thanksgiving, everybody, because we were off last week. But this week, we are talking about the folding iPhone. So I did some research before we dive into this. The earliest reference I could find about a folding iPhone from anywhere that wasn't like a patent.
I'm going to guess 2018.
I got one from 2017.
Oh, nice. All right.
So it was like almost like maybe 3 or 4 weeks after the iPhone 10 arrived. The Korea Herald reported that LG Display had created some committee to work on developing a folding OLED screen for the iPhone. And this was before folding screens were really a thing. We had seen prototypes and stuff.
Yeah, I don't remember when the first folding smartphone was, but it was before that, but they weren't common, right?
There was that Royal something or other. I forget what it was. It was at one of those CES or Mobile World Congress things where there was like a proof of concept thing.
Right.
But
it actually shipped in late 2018. Was that the Flex Pi or whatever? And then there was the Galaxy Fold. The Galaxy Fold was
the big one. That was in 2019. That was a mess. If you remember that whole launch,
the first one,
a disaster. Yeah.
Yep. But they had the first.
Yeah, Samsung. That's Samsung's thing. Like they were the first watch. They were the first phablet, as they called them back then. Like they're big on that. So yeah, they probably kind of rushed it a little bit, and it was a mess. The reviewers they were peeling the protective layer off because they thought it was a covering. The hinge was a disaster. They would get dust in and it wouldn't close, and it would.
The crease was really, really visible after just a week. It was it was terrible.
CNET did their folding test, and it broke out to 10,000 folds or something. It was really bad. They delayed it for a while. Finally got it to people, but it didn't really catch on. Well, you can argue that it hasn't really caught on, but it got better on the third or fourth generation. Now we're up to the seventh. and now is like legitimately good. It's still it's still $2,000, and it's still like out of reach for most people, but it's good. Like it looks much better than it did. It's pretty thin. Like the crease is almost all gone now.
Yeah, and there are other options, and they're good too.
There's a bunch.
Versions are good. There's some vertically folding flip phones. You go into a carrier store, which I just did this a couple months ago with my parents, and on the Android side of things, there's I don't know 5 or 6 various folding phones.
Yeah, like every major Android company has one now.
Yeah.
I don't know the numbers. I assume Samsung's ahead of everybody else as far as like sales go, but
you usually are.
Google makes one. Huawei makes one. Motorola makes one. Like they all have them now, and they're good. Like they're good phones. They don't sell in big numbers. They're all very expensive, but like they're super thin now. Like they're not much. I remember the first Sam's was like 20 millimeters thick. It was basically 2 phones together. Yeah, and it was it didn't close all the way. There was like a little gap when you closed it because the hinge didn't allow it to go flush. And those are all the reasons why Apple didn't come out with one in 2019 or 2020. So the first rumor that like set a date was in 2018. They said it was coming in 2020.
Yeah,
and obviously we blew.
It was 2 years away.
Yeah,
it was 2 years away every year.
Right. So right. So every rumor says it's coming in 2022, 2024, 2020.
Yeah.
But we've heard 2026 for a while now, and it looks like it's going to actually arrive next September. So Apple's going to kind of monkey with its iPhone lineup a little bit, and instead of the iPhone 17, they're going to delay the iPhone 17 to March 2027. They're going to do the Pro models and the folding model allegedly next September. Right. Jason, is that what you
mean 18? Yeah.
Wait. Oh, iPhone 18. Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. We're in 2025.
Yes. Right. So next fall is supposed to be just the Pro iPhone, the iPhone 18 Pro Max, maybe a new iPhone Air, and this folding phone. The regular iPhone 18 won't launch until the next spring, together with the 18e.
Right, because you can argue that Apple wants to spread out the line. You can also argue that they want to sell very expensive phones for Christmas.
Yeah, they don't. If you don't have the option to buy the cheaper phone, especially since this year, the iPhone 17 is taking off because they made it good.
It's great.
They finally put in all the stuff it's been missing, and nobody wants to spend more, and I don't blame them. So they won't give people the option next year. But so that's the rumor we've heard, and we've also all these years we've heard folding iPhone coming in 2 years. It's been from part suppliers and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's never been from the really reliable guys who seem to have an inside source in Apple, like Mark Gurman, who they've always been like, well, they're experimenting with folding phones, but there's not one on the schedule. Now he's like, no, there's one on the schedule. It's going to be priced really high. It's coming out.
Yeah, he's reported it a couple of times now. Yeah.
Yeah. So
all right. Let's run through the specs. Do you have them in front of you? Because I don't.
Well,
I took all these notes and I forgot to take the specs notes.
There's a lot we don't know. We do know that it's going to be a book style fold, not the clamshell style, and that when unfolded, it's supposed to be the outside screen to be a 5.5 inch screen. So
which is like
we don't know.
That's like the Air size.
Kind of.
I think
what is the Air?
I think that's 5.5. Right?
No, 6.5. The Air is 6.5. So,
that's what I meant.
But we don't know if that's because it's just the same dimensions but smaller, or is it like going to be skinny?
Right,
and that's why it's 5.5. We don't know the dimensions.
Skinny as in tall. You're talking about.
Is it a tall, narrow screen, like a taller, narrower screen than a normal iPhone? We don't know.
Right.
But the outside display 5.5 inches, inside 7.8 when it's opened up.
Which is a little bit smaller than like an iPad mini.
Right. And it's going to be more square-ish. when it's open than a normal iPhone size, right? So,
Right.
so we don't really kind of know what the dimensions are going to be. We just have those two sizes, and supposedly there will be a camera inside for when you've got it open, and at least one camera outside, for both selfies and for just taking photos. And we don't really have like things like camera numbers and stuff. We have, they say when closed, 9.5 millimeters thick is a number that's been thrown around, and then 4.5 millimeters when unfolded. So
that's
like
9.5. That's about right. The pixels around there, the Galaxy. There are some overseas phones that are like super skinny, like 8.1, but I don't think Apple's going to really try to break the mold there. Like, I think it's more important to have good battery life and all the things that work,
and durability,
even if it's an extra millimeter. Yeah.
So that's basically a millimeter thicker than an iPhone Pro Max today, the new Pro Max. And we don't really have an idea about things like camera bumps and
I assume there will
and
be
all that other stuff. Yeah, I assume it's going to be a bar, a plateau bar, like it is on the Air and stuff.
I would think.
I think that's what they're into. We just don't know how many cameras or how big it is or any. We don't have good design leaks yet, for what it looks like.
There's been, some of the rumors have said 2 cameras. We haven't really heard many about 3. So it's probably 1 or 2. Like it's either the Air. I would be surprised if they did 1, because they got some flack for doing it on the Air. And if this is like a real high level premium device, I would assume a wide and an ultra wide camera on the outside, and then the standard 12 megapixel or 18 megapixel selfie cam on the inside, I would think.
Yeah, and it's kind of unknown if there's also going to be a sort of selfie cam for the outside, on the screen side of the outside.
Right.
There
might be an extra selfie
ID.
Cam, when you're using it in its own like closed mode. Yeah. Yeah,
closed and open. And then, how much Face ID is there going to be? Are there 2 Face ID sensors, all that stuff? Probably.
Well, I would think, but then there's some rumors that say it's going to do like the iPad Air and have a Touch ID sensor built into the power button. Though there's been some rumors about that too.
Yeah.
That's what Samsung does, but they also don't really have the Face ID that Apple has. No one does. Yeah. So, I mean, it would, after 10 years of saying Face ID is great and Touch ID is inferior, and then they go back to Touch ID, it would be interesting. But they might have to.
Or at least to do it just for when you're using the phone on the outside closed screen, and then when it's open, there's a Face ID inside or something. Who knows?
Like if it locks when it's open. But then, like if you're buying something, you got to use Touch ID. Maybe it would be both. Yeah.
Yeah. So we only know that. We assume it's going to have an A20 or A20 Pro. It's got to be. They're going to have to do like the Air and put a Pro chip in it, even if the Pro is like all cut back to where it's not really any better than the regular non-Pro version. Just because it's going to be so expensive, they can't get away with not putting the Pro chip in it.
I mean, here's a question: would it have an M chip like the iPad?
No, it's the power use is just such at a premium, and why put an M series chip in there and then have to clock it down and cut it back so far that it's just an A series chip again.
Right. I mean, marketing.
And it's going to have, maybe marketing, but and then it's going to have all of Apple's new homemade networking stuff. So probably
the modem,
either a C1X or C2 if it's ready. And then an N1. We haven't heard anything about an N2 coming soon.
I mean, they might not need that until there's a new Wi-Fi protocol. I mean, those standards stick around for much longer than other ones. So they might not need to update that for a while.
They haven't implemented all parts of Wi-Fi 7 or anything like that yet.
Right.
I can see them doing something like an N1X. Right. Mm-hmm. Like they did with the C1X, where it's the same chip, but somehow faster, but it's not new capabilities or something. So It's fine. It's the N1. What it gives you is pretty well state of the art. It's the most recent Bluetooth. It's the most recent. It's Threads. It's Wi-Fi 7. You're good.
Yeah. Battery life. I mean, that's the
Nobody knows.
question in my mind. Yeah. So we got the Air this year. So the Air has been basically kind of bandied about as half of a folding phone, half of the iPhone Fold, if that's what they're going to call it. We'll talk about the name later. But if it is, the other side, it's like all battery, right? Like if this is half the phone, they got everything up here. This is a pretty powerful phone. They don't need to do much to it to power a tablet. So if you got two halves of the Air, the battery goes from whatever it is, 3,000 milliamp hours to like 6, right?
Yeah, I think there's definitely enough room to have double the. They do need electronics in both sides. So you need display drivers and touch drivers and all this other stuff. You're going to have a camera on this side, but then at least the inside camera on the other side. So you're going to have some stuff.
There's some parts that need to be over there. Yeah.
But there's room for however much battery. We assume there's enough room for however much battery is in the iPhone Air doubled. But you don't know how much it's going to use. Like having this bigger screen opened up and stuff. So we don't know.
So the iPad Air has a what? Do we know the capacity of the Air? Someone must have
the iPad Air? You mean the iPhone Air?
iPhone Air, yeah. Roman, do you have that off the top of your head?
I don't know it off the top of my head, but we know
I got it here. It's 3149 milliamp hours.
Yeah. So it could easily have 6,000,
Yeah. So the iPad mini, the newest iPad mini has a 5,000 milliamp hour, just over 5,000 milliamp hour battery. So assuming the screens are roughly the same, I mean, it's an iPhone, there's more to it maybe.
Yeah, there's different stuff. One's OLED and all this. They do all these different things.
So like 5,800 say they'll do. Like that, that seems legitimate. But the iPad doesn't have the same battery life as the iPhone. Like it's significantly less because you use it differently. So
and they have different chips in them and stuff. So, but we don't. Yeah, I mean, counting milliamp hours is really just not a productive way of measuring battery life anymore because it's impacted by so many different things.
Listen, I only have the information that's given to me.
Yeah, I'm just saying we don't know. We have no idea.
No, I know. I'm joking. I'm going to look up hold on. I did all this damn research and then I forgot to do this. The Samsung. I want to see what is the Samsung Galaxy Fold Z7 battery capacity and battery estimate.
Yeah.
Let's see. So it has a 4,400 milliamp hour battery. Okay. Assuming Google's AI overview is accurate. It has a 4,400 milliamp. So that's a lot smaller than we were just talking about.
Yep.
And it's lasted. So here's Samsung specs. Oh, no, that is accurate because they actually list the battery capacity. So it's 4,400. Hold on, I got to scroll through all their stupid stuff to get to the bottom specs. The offers switch performance. What the hell do I find?
You want to know how many hours it lasts or whatever?
I want to see what Samsung says.
Oh, but you can't trust that anyway. So
no, I know, but I'm just curious to see what they rate.
Right.
Like just compared to, but I can't find the stupid.
But how does that compare to? And how does that compare to a regular non-folding Samsung phone? I don't know.
Well, yeah.
All I know is it's at the price Apple is rumored to be doing this for, which is north of $2,000. So some are saying 2,400.
Some are saying 2,400. Yeah.
Yeah. Which it's hard to say if that's is that the entry level or is that like a more storage version of it or whatever? But more than 2,000 is a lot.
That's a lot.
2,000 and up is crazy.
The Galaxy Z Fold, I believe, starts at 2, I think.
Yeah, there's some $1,800 ones out there, but it's twice as expensive as a Pro iPhone. At that price, if it doesn't last all day, they're just going to get creamed. So
Samsung says the Galaxy Z Fold 7, the latest folding phone, gets 4,400 has a 4,400 milliamp hour battery, gets up to 24 hours of video playback.
Okay.
The Galaxy S25 Ultra, which is the newest, like the Pro Max version of their phone, has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery and gets up to 31 hours of video playback. That's pretty significant as far as the difference between those two phones. I don't know. Take what you will with that information, but that's what Samsung says.
Samsung's, and I think their Z Fold, their latest Z Fold is thin. It's thinner than Apple's rumored size.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm looking for the man. Samsung's site sucks. Like they don't list like simple specs.
No, they don't want you to. It's not important.
Like so, it says weight and size, but it only tells me the size of the screen. Like I want to know the dimensions.
Okay, we don't. It doesn't. It's not important.
It's important. Oh, I found it. When folded, it's 8.9 millimeters.
Right, so a little thinner than the rumored size of Apple's, which we don't know is accurate.
Right, we have no idea.
To me, the more
accurate.
The more interesting thing is not the hardware, which everyone's been doing for at least a few years now. And Apple will probably just be really good at having a screen that doesn't show a crease and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, but the new Galaxy does as well. Like, to be fair
I'm
to
saying
Samsung, they've gotten rid of it, basically.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that's not the interesting part to me, because we can all imagine what an iPhone that folds would be like.
I mean, I'm a little interested
to look at.
It's like, but yeah, I get you.
To me, the interesting part is what they would do with software.
Yeah,
we've not had a 2-screen iPhone. We've not had iPhones with screens of a different dimensions.
Right.
That's going to require updating of apps. Like all these apps have to look different when it's unfolded and you have a wider screen than any iPhone has ever been. They have to make tools for developers to do that. They have to make tools for developers so that when you're using an app on the outside screen and you open your phone, does that app just be open inside with a different view?
I mean, it should. Yeah.
Or should that be an option? Like maybe you open it and no, I want my app on the outside, but then when I open it, I want a blank slate on the inside or a different app or whatever. There's all these things that just aren't part of iOS now that they have to worry about, and they have to get right. They have to get it to that level of polish that people want from Apple. So I'm sure they've been working on that for a long time, but there's a lot of software OS usability stuff that they have got to work on. There's a lot of frameworks and things for developers they need to provide that are going to be wholly new to the Apple ecosystem. And I'm interested in seeing all that side of it. Like, how does it work? Why do I want a folding phone?
And, for their first product, almost 10 years after, no, not 10, like 8 years after the first one, like it's got to be pretty rock solid as far as the software goes. Like it can't have a bunch of bugs and stutters and crashes. Like, it's people are going to be looking at it as if it's a polished product, not like a beta, because the market's established.
Market's established. It's Apple. It's $2,000 or more. People are not going to expect to be beta testing this thing.
Right.
But there's going to be a lot of software that like a third-party apps, stuff that need to be updated to sort of take good advantage of it. There's going to be, what does it do if you're running an app that hasn't been updated? Like, how does that look when on the unfolded inside screen? I just have a million questions. But they need to do a lot to convince people they want a folding iPhone.
That's the big
especially
thing.
at that price, right?
They have a hard enough problem selling like iPads, and now they have to convince people that they want like an all-in-one device. That's twice as much. It could be twice as much as the iPhone Pro, starting at $2,400. So before we get off the price thing, Roman, you've said numerous times that you're holding out and you want to get the folding iPhone. Forget about Apple and review products and stuff. Like, would you buy one for $2,400? 256. Wait, hold on. Let me. I'll give you some specs. 256 gigs of storage. Say 12 gigs of RAM. We'll do we'll do what they said. So 5.5 screen outside, 8, 7.8 on the inside, OLED. High res, blah, 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 blah. folding is 9.2 millimeters. It's a really nice high end phone.
In our last podcast, I talked about how I liked the 17 Pro Max because of the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So now, and I have said I want to buy the folding phone, but after getting the 17 Pro Max and the cameras, it's going to come down to what cameras are on that phone.
So if it doesn't have a telephoto, we'll say,
I may not buy it.
18 Pro Max instead.
Yeah. I want the folding phone, but I can't go back. I can't go back to having just no telephoto
I get
lens
it.
anymore. So before I got this 17 Pro Max, I thought, I'm going to get it, but no, the cameras make the difference now. And it's become the folding, the bigger screen, and everything. That's become not even secondary. It's like, it's a back seat to the cameras for me now.
Right. Yeah.
So it's all depends on what those cameras are on that phone. And I suspect that it's not going to be a 3 lens.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's probably right. I think 2. I think you could probably bank on 2.
Yeah.
But 3 would be a stretch.
And it's a question of which 2. And I imagine it's going to be standard and wide.
Right.
Because I don't know.
So I also I'm with Roman where I really want to buy one, but I'm on the opposite end of Roman's spectrum. Whereas, so I have the iPhone Air, and it's so comfortable to use with one hand. And I've gotten into this, that's why I like it, because it's so skinny and it's so comfortable. I don't know if I want something that I have to use with 2 hands. I don't they're going to have a real hard time selling this thing.
I'm very curious if they're going to do stuff like let it work with Apple Pencil on the inside.
Sure.
For example. Is it big enough that we think it should, but we're not in charge of Apple.
The Galaxy Z, whatever, it works with the S Pen, but the S Pen's a little different than the Apple Pencil.
And they've been doing that forever. They had the Note forever.
The Note
and they actually have a little slot to slide it in the phone and all that stuff. That's a question. For me, whether I want one of these comes down primarily to, do they do anything interesting with the software? What I've seen from Android folding phones so far, if Apple just does that, but the iOS version of that, I am not interested. That does not solve any problem I have in my life. That just makes my phone thicker, and that's not what I need.
Here's a question, Jason. What if it's iOS on the outside, iPadOS 26 or 27 on the inside?
Yeah, that could be interesting. Especially if it's smartly and quickly can move the app from the outside screen to the inside, but it works like iPadOS with
there'll be some slick animation. Some opening animation where it from the side or something. They're absolutely going to do that, or like a cube
flips in from reverse, inside, like they're coming in. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, to me, that it's about the software story. Do they do something with software that makes a folding phone or just a phone that can be a bigger, wider screen more interesting? If it's just it's nice to watch videos that way, it's better to browse the web on a wider page. I'm not interested in that. I'm not $2,400 interested in that.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, when you can get an iPad mini and an iPhone 17 for half the price.
For half the price, yeah.
I don't disagree with that. And I don't know if it's going to be more than iPadOS on the inside. I mean, that seems as though...
Or even iPadOS, but we do...
Or even iPadOS, yeah.
That's the kind of thing we won't hear a lot about, probably. The software secrets are what Apple.
You're talking about rumors.
Yeah, the rumors stuff. Apple's able to keep software a secret much easier than hardware, where they have a whole bunch of suppliers and a big supply chain and all this other stuff. So.
Yeah, the thing is WWDC, the beta for iOS 27 or iPadOS 27, that's where you'll see little clues. I remember when the iPhone 10 was coming out, the iOS version that year shifted things lower on the screen, Like a lot of the menus, a lot of the buttons started to come, and you started like, all right, so like rather than going way up here for things, it would come down here. So they gave you clues that the screen was getting significantly larger. I wonder if there'll be anything in this beta, the next beta rather, that kind of like, oh yeah, I can see how that could be the screen thing, a multitasking thing, or
right. Yeah, the like iOS beta that they release at WWDC.
Right.
I could also see them just kind of, since this is like a really radically new product, I could see them doing that thing they do where they announce something months before, like they do with the watch and stuff like that.
They did it
and Vision Pro and the watch. This could be a thing where they announce it at WWDC.
Maybe.
Not fully. They just kind of in a glossy way, like, you know, and like they did with Vision Pro. Like there's a lot of sort of missing information, but they have a real glossy presentation and they say, hey, this is coming. Just so that they don't have to try and hide it so much.
I mean, as you said before, they're going to need developers to get on board with this stuff. Like they're going to have to retool stuff. It's not just iPad versus iPhone and it's blown up. Like it's got to be different.
Yeah, and that way when they ship in their developer tools, the simulation can show like developers won't have the hardware, but they'll have the sim on their Mac and they can, you know, see and start developing folding iPhone stuff. So it might be announced early. It'd be an interesting way to go. I can see them doing that. Yeah,
I hadn't thought about that till just now, but I think you might be onto something because it's going to be very difficult. First of all, we haven't had a 5.5-inch iPhone in forever. That's small. So things have to change for that. And then we haven't had the size that they're talking about for an iPad ever either. So they're both very different than what's on the market now.
Yeah, and we don't know if the aspect ratios will be different and things have to move from one to the other. And there's all this stuff that needs to happen. So, yeah, I could see them. It would be really cool and interesting if they just did an announcement at WWDC. They showed it off. You didn't get the price. You didn't get things like storage amounts or anything like that.
Or even like what it looks like. They just tell you like it's coming and these are the screen sizes. Like they could save the design for September, but just show you the screens. And then they get like basically like 2 for the price of 1 because everyone talks about it in June and then everyone talks about it again in September. Yeah, that's interesting. All right. So what else about this thing do we want to talk about? All right. So what do you think they're going to call it?
Oh, I mean, the big money's on iPhone Fold, and that seems like the obvious choice. I like iFold, but
that would be funny if they went back. They haven't had an iProduct since the iPad.
Well, it's an iPhone. iPhone keeps, but not a new one. Well, right.
Yeah. Like that's what I mean. Like a new announced product. Since for one, since Steve Jobs passed away.
Right. But I mean iFold, IPHOLD. Like I want them to combine iPhone and Fold into a portmanteau.
That would be on that could be a marketing slogan. Yeah. I would be shocked if they called it that.
Me too, but I want them to do it anyway. I want it to be the iFold with a PH. It's going to be iPhone Fold. I mean, it's got to be, right?
I would assume so, but they're trying to get away from the i stuff, like, you know, AirPods.
Well, they just did iPhone Air and stuff. If it's an iPhone, if it's iPhone blank, they wouldn't get away from i stuff. If it has a new non-iPhone name, then it's not going to be i something. It's going to be the Apple Fold or the Apple something. Yeah.
iPhone Fold is nice. I can't really think of another way to say that. Unless it's a different name, like iPhone. What? You know,
book. I don't know, right? Because it folds like a book. I don't know. It just seems like no matter what they name it, people are going to call it that. So just go with iPhone Fold.
Yeah, even when we write it, we write iPhone Fold in some references now because it just seems as though that's what it's going to be. All right, so we got the name. The price is I mean, just absurd. $2,400 is nuts.
Yep.
I can't imagine they're going to sell many of them. And I know, like, you can say, well, they don't have to, but what's the point then? Like, if this isn't Vision Pro, Vision Pro is a project that's years, like it's a prototype for what they want to do 10 years from now. The iPhone Fold is a folding iPhone. Like it's not going to get markedly better in 5 or 7 years. It's just it is what it is.
Well, so, the one of the rumors is this initial one will be complex and difficult to manufacture and expensive and all that stuff, and then there's another one in 2027 will be more easier to manufacture and better priced and stuff like that.
I mean, they said that about the iPhone 10. That never went down in price.
No,
I mean, true. I guess you can argue that there's an $800 version of it, or so. I guess it kind of did, but it was a lesser version of it. So they could come out with a cheaper version of maybe a flip phone or something like that.
Yeah,
but even as a premium iPhone, $2,400 if that's the price. That's a lot. $1,999 I could get behind.
I even if it was that, like
that's
I feel
a lot.
like this.
That's a lot.
I feel like this leak of I feel like $2,400 is a leak by Apple to anchor us. That psychological principle where now $2,000 seems reasonable.
Maybe.
Oh, it's only $2,000 because we heard $2,400 at first.
Sure. I mean, we thought that about the Vision Pro too, but that was dead on.
Right, and so I just. Even if it's $2,000, it's got to be
it's a lot
special.
I mean, it's a lot for just a phone. I mean, it's the same thing that we have, but slightly better.
I would pay more. I would pay a few $100 more than a Pro Max.
Okay. So like $1,599, you'd be okay with something like that.
Yeah, so something like that. But I mean, assuming it does something interesting other than just like, well, look how good videos look on a bigger screen. Like it's gotta do something special. But that's kind of my price range. Like that's what folding is worth to me.
Right.
It's not worth $1,000 more.
Have you? I forgot to ask this earlier. Have either of you ever used one of the Android ones?
Yeah, years ago. Yeah. Like one of the early, the second generation Galaxy Fold or whatever, the 2020 or 2021 model or whatever it was. Yeah. So they're a lot better now.
Same with me. I used like way back. I used to cover Android for PC World, and I used a couple of them. Yeah. I never had one as my daily driver, but I used it for a week. I think they loaned it to me, and it was nice. It's good. But
they were wonky then.
Yeah,
like back then, Android, the core Android OS didn't do a lot with folding.
It wasn't tooled for folding. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it felt like it's Android, but everything resizes itself. And what it's really best for is running two apps at the same time, side by side.
Which they did that. Like phones did that in Android. They had split screen. Apple's never allowed that.
But that's what
Android
it did. That's all it really did well. Today, Android is much better tooled for these folding phones. Like you said, everybody has one, and they work a lot more seamlessly, and it's a lot better. So I would expect the experience is a lot better today.
Yeah, I would. I'm sure, just based on what I see on the websites, like they look better, the video reviews and stuff. Yeah, I was very gun ho for the folding phone, but after this episode, now I'm not so sure.
We talked you down. I don't know why.
A little bit, yeah.
We stuck you in the wrong place. Roman's over here going like, if it doesn't have 3 cameras, I'm not interested. And you're like, and you're like, well, wait a minute. I just got used to a really skinny phone.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be skinny. What am I going to do?
It's not going to be skinny, and I'm going to have to use 2 hands to basically do anything. It's
maybe.
I don't know. Apple has their work cut out for them to sell this thing to us. And if we're not going to buy it, who the hell's going to buy it? Like, we're the target market for
There's
Apple's
always somebody who just has to have the coolest thing for $2,000. But just how big is that? Like you said, how big is that market? And does Apple care that it's a small market? Is this a long-term play? Is this more about is 5% of all iPhone sales going to be this folding iPhone in 3 years? Right. Maybe that's where they're going with this.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we'll have a lot more to say about the folding phone. We have 10 months, so there'll be more episodes devoted to it, I'm sure. But it's exciting that there's a new iPhone coming out that's like really new. Like the Air was new, but it's just a thin iPhone. This is something that's completely new, and there's a lot of parts about it that I'm excited. But Man, if they unveil that price and it says $23.99, that's going to be a killer. We'll see. Okay. All right, Roman, I want to start with your week in history because it's really funny and interesting, and I had no idea that this actually happened.
I totally forgot about this. I do remember this, but I forgot about it.
So this week it's actually this week in Macworld history. It's not That's really right. This week in Apple history. On December 3rd, 2013, yours truly, me, Roman Loyola, made a quote-unquote appearance on Comedy Central's The Colbert Report.
This was before Stephen Colbert was a big shot late night talk show host.
Yeah, this is when he was better.
Late night talk show. Yeah. This is when he was doing that character.
You could argue that.
When he was doing this, he had the show right after The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. And, he played this kind of right-wing pundit who is a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Not clueless, but it was satire. How about that? Yes. It was a satire.
Yeah.
And he did a segment. I wrote a review on the double robotics iPad robot. So this is basically a stand on wheels.
What year was this, Roman?
This was 2013.
Okay, so the iPad was out for a couple years.
Yeah. Yep. And Double Robotics came out with this remote stand that was on wheels. You could put an iPad on it, and then you could control it, and you could basically use it to
like
go
FaceTime.
Around. Yeah, and you could use it basically to go around an office or whatever. You could control it remotely, and your face would show up on the iPad. And I reviewed it. I reviewed it when it came out in October. And then a couple months later, the Colbert Report did this segment on it. And they used a video that I made for the review in their segment. And my face shows up on the Colbert Report on the iPad.
Yeah.
And they're making fun of this the whole time, which is fine.
It's a fairly long clip too. They do about 20 seconds or so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
me showing up was like 2-3 seconds. but the segment itself is actually kind of, it's like a 4 or 5 minute segment.
Right. I'm just saying the part where they do your video, it's your voice doing the voiceover and showing the robot and stuff like that's longer than you would think, right? It's a good 10 or something seconds. So you hear him talk about it. It's you just describing this telepresence robot, which is
right.
That was the thing everyone thought was going to be a thing. People would stay at home and they would have robots at work walking down the hallways.
Yeah.
And stuff. You can make one with an iPad.
Yeah.
So
did anyone contact you from the show to ask if they could use it?
No one contacted me. Nothing. I don't even think they gave us a credit in this.
No, there wasn't. I had no idea. I watched it the other day.
There may have been at the closing.
There was like a thing on the screen. I think it said Macworld.
Yeah, there's a little Macworld in the corner kind of thing.
But it doesn't. They don't say your name or the publication.
My Twitter handle was clearly. You can see it because it was in the Macworld video. And they included it in their segment, but I didn't get any rise in Twitter followers and stuff like that. I didn't get it yet. So, and I don't even think I knew it was coming on. And I think somebody at work here told me that they saw it.
Yep.
So I went, and so then they posted it on their website. It's funny is Comedy Central does have a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
but they don't have older Colbert Report segments.
People weren't putting stuff up like that in 2013.
Yeah, they weren't.
That was just on their own sites.
Yeah. And sometimes they go back, for instance, David Letterman, they go back and put old segments and stuff like that, but they don't seem to do that at Comedy Central.
This thing cost $2,500. I'm looking at your review. It was $2,500. It's basically a stick on wheels.
Yeah.
I don't know how. So the segment ends, somewhat humorously with the thing trying to give him a cup of coffee and it hits the stairs and just topples over.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anyone bought this thing. And if it did, there's a million potential problems with it that this doesn't address.
Yeah.
You've seen this. There's been comedy shows and stuff where they made fun of these kind of things. Not necessarily this brand, but like, you're remote controlling a stick with a thing on it, and of course it always falls over, and you're laying there on the ground going, "Can someone pick me up?"
Right.
You're right.
It fell over.
You generously gave it 3.5 stars, but one of your cons is that there's no way to reset it remotely, which is
remotely.
That's a pretty big one.
Yeah. I mean, it worked, and it worked. It basically worked. It worked.
Well, it worked
fine.
in the sense that if you connected to Wi-Fi to your iPad, you could see yourself. But
and the remote, the robot going around the office worked. In the video there, I show me going down the hallway and then people walking by it and looking. That was totally unplanned. There was a demo. Some vendors had come for a demo.
It's funny.
And I was testing it in the hallway, and they were done with their demo, and they left, and they saw me in this iPad robot in the hallway. So that was totally unplanned. It's in the video. So we'll post that video in the show notes.
Yeah,
if
please.
you're interested in watching it. So it is the Colbert Report segment. It's not my video that I made for Macworld. I'm not even sure. I couldn't find that video. I think that video
that's long gone.
Yeah, it's long gone because we had so many technology transitions here that we lost a lot of content a lot of video content that way. If you're interested,
does Double Robotics still exist?
I think it still exists. At least our website still exists.
It does.
I don't know.
They still sell it. Oh, it says sold out.
It's a really low volume kind of thing. They kind of re-engineered their whole marketing. It kind of reminds me of Segway in a way. Although Segway ended up selling themselves, and now they're just like one of these personal transport companies, I guess, where they make like those little wheelies and things like that. They make all kinds of different.
I rode a Segway once in my life. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. But no, they're still around, and I think they're still independent, but they're become a low volume company. I don't know who they're selling to.
They're up to the Double 3, which has it looks a lot nicer than the one you reviewed as a charging dock and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's basically a similar concept where you control it remotely and it rolls around the office.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna duct tape a broom handle to a Roomba,
right?
And then for like $49 and just be done with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a cool little bit. I had no idea that happened. So this week in Roman history. is that, and I'm going to skip our segment because you said you had reader mailbag that addressed the segment that I wanted to do anyway. So let's just jump right to your thing, and we'll talk about the thing I wanted to crowbar into a new segment.
Okay. So in the Macworld mailbag inbox, hot takes, whatever you want to call it, reader comments, we got a few comments about an article, more about me. An article that I recently wrote. I wrote an article about the M1 MacBook Air that is sold by Walmart. And I wrote it for Black Friday. It was essentially, whether this laptop is worth it. At the time, on Black Friday, it was priced at $549. And now it's priced at $499. And I checked, and it's still $499.
It's still there, yeah, I'm looking.
So in the article, I talk about whether it's a good deal or not. But we got a few comments on that article.
I will. But before we get to their comments, let's just talk about it briefly.
Okay,
is it a good deal? So this is the M1. So the Apple stopped selling the M1 4 years ago.
It was launched in 2020.
It launched in 2020.
Right.
And then it kind of stuck around longer than a year because of COVID.
Right. And then the M2 came out, and then they started selling it for $1,000.
Right.
And then when the M3 came out, the M2 took its spot and then they got rid of it. But there's this like, I don't know if it's like it's got to be an official partnership, because where's Walmart getting all these from? They have thousands of these things, and they've been selling them for years. So Apple must still make them, I guess. And
I don't know.
supplies Walmart with. Where are they getting them from?
So it's the old MacBook Air chassis.
It's the wedge
design.
Old display, old size, all that.
Yeah, old display size, wider bezels, stuff like that. It wouldn't surprise me if Apple kind of had a warehouse full of them, or at least full of like half-built ones. And
they would have had to have 200,000 of them.
I don't think
they must have sold
Walmart's selling. I don't think they are. I mean,
Walmart's website says 1,000 plus sold since yesterday. Yeah. Assuming that's not total BS. That's a lot. They've been doing this for years.
Right. Well, that's 1,000. It was just Black Friday weekend, and they just dropped.
Right. So let's say they sold 10,000 last week.
Right. Yeah, but that's like the biggest week. Like, I don't think they sell 100,000 a year.
No. Well,
let me put it to you this way, and some insider baseball for our listeners.
All right.
My article didn't get a lot of traffic.
Right.
So people are searching for it.
Nobody's looking for it. So to me, like, if you would have said, "Hey, is this a good deal?" Back when a modern MacBook Air was 1,000, and this was, what were they selling it for? $699 was the old price.
They started at $699.
Yeah. For this, I would have been like, "Hey, that's a pretty cheap thing." Now you can get the modern MacBook Airs are $250 off on Amazon.
Yeah, they're $750 at Amazon. Yeah.
It starts at $750 and so for $500 for this versus $750 for that, I would take the $750.
I agree, but not everybody has an extra $250 to blow.
Sure, yeah.
So if you have $499 and you don't have a penny more, is this a good deal?
So, like, if you have $499. And you really, really need a MacBook, and this is
or just a laptop in general. We'll say it doesn't have to be a MacBook. It just a laptop.
I would say it's kind of iffy. That's where we get into the like, do you get a Chromebook? You can get like a top end Chromebook with more storage and yada. Well, and part of the problem with this is it's only 8 gigs. You're never going to get some of the features that are coming to Mac OS.
That's the biggest issue I have. If it was 16 gigs of RAM, I'd tell everyone, yeah, it's great. But that 8 gigs of RAM in 2025 you're going to start feeling that if you're not feeling it already.
Right. If you don't need a laptop right now, I would wait to see what happens with this new lower cost MacBook that Apple is supposedly shipping in just a month or two.
Maybe.
Like it's just coming up, hopefully by, March the latest kind of thing. Yeah. Maybe earlier than that. So I would be waiting till then if I was just like, well, I can't afford $750 and I don't need one like right now. If you don't have $750 and you desperately need a laptop right now, then this gets you a Mac. If you have an Apple ecosystem stuff, it's your messages will be in sync and all that other stuff you care. Your photos will automatically sync and all that other good stuff that makes it nice to use a Mac when you also have an iPhone and stuff. Yeah, if all you care about is having a laptop for $500, I don't know that this is the best $500 laptop that you can get.
Okay. It's the best Mac. It's the best $500 Mac laptop you can get. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You can get a used or a old refurbished.
Right.
So you're getting 256 gigs of storage, 8 gigs of RAM, and M1 chip. Old design, old screen. The screen is the same resolution as the current one, but it's a little bit smaller. And the keyboard is good. Trackpad's good.
Yeah.
The design is good. We liked it when they made it. It's it's not a bad design. It's a good design. They got a couple USB-C ports. It's good.
Yeah. It's just dated. It's what you would expect from a 2000 era Mac, So you're missing some of the newer Thunderbolt USB-C. It doesn't fast charge. It doesn't have the new MagSafe. It's so annoying. They call two different things MagSafe, but the MagSafe power plug that charges things faster. It doesn't have any of that. Plus, we're all the way up to M4 now, and there's a big gap between M1 and M4.
M5 soon, yeah. Oh, at least soon in the air, yeah.
Well, but in the I can get one for $250 off at Amazon. It's an M4, and that's a good.
Yeah, I mean that one that Jason's talking about is light years ahead of this one, even though it's only 3 generations, or it's a new design, a better screen, or a larger screen rather. You're getting the processor is way better. You're getting 16 gigs of RAM standard. It's markedly better than this one, but it'll cost you $250 more, and not everyone has the luxury of spending an extra $250 on a laptop. Roman wrote a really in-depth, exhaustive article, and no offense, didn't really come to a conclusion because it's hard. It's hard to say whether or not this is a good idea, because for some people it is.
Sure.
It really varies on A, your budget, and B, what you want to do with it. Can I say I hate that this description says built for Apple Intelligence, because it absolutely was not.
Right. I honestly think that if where I would draw the line is, like, do you need it now? Because even if you're really this price conscious that you really need this version and not the M4 for $750, then I would wait to find out what's going on with this new purpose-built, more affordable MacBook,
which could end up costing you $750. But we don't know.
It could, and then you go get this, or you get something on the refurb store, an Apple refurb or something like that.
I would love Walmart. If anyone from Walmart's listening, can I take a tour of your MacBook warehouse? Because I really want to see what this thing looks like. They have to have a ton of them, and so the gold is out of stock. I'm not sure how long that's been, but
I think it's been out of stock for a while.
Yeah, so maybe they don't. So maybe it's only silver and space gray that they offer in this.
Yeah, I don't know if they're just like, is Apple still making these just for Walmart? Like, I can't imagine. I imagine that Apple found a partner back when this was on sale for a lot cheaper, where Apple said, "Oh, we thought these were going to take off, and we built an extra 120,000 of them." And now Walmart's like, "We'll take them all off your hands for half price." And
I would agree with you, but that's very much not Tim Cook's strategy. Like, they don't do that.
They usually don't overproduce that much.
Yeah,
right.
I will probably never know, but if anyone knows, podcast at Macworld.com, send us an email.
I just have a hard time imagining that, like, TSMC has it's a 5-nanometer chip, right? I think.
It might be 7.
Is it a 7 nanometer? I just have a hard time thinking that, well, whatever nanometer it is, that TSMC still has that fab up.
Oh, sure they do.
In making this chip. So,
actually, that's the high volume stuff. They're still making like 12 nanometer chips. But
M1 is 5. It's a 5 nanometer. But somebody needs it. Like, Apple doesn't for its new stuff. But they definitely make 5 nanometer chips.
A lot of these sort of like microcontrollers and cheap things that go into smart thermostats and all. There's like the high volume of chips is like 2 generations back, and they still produce all that stuff. So those fabs are still running. It's weird. It would be weird that they'd be making M1s though. Like,
right?
This is weird.
Just some comments from Simon Klosek on Facebook said, M1 is still a viable CPU in 2025, and you don't need Apple Intelligence. Well, hopefully that Apple Intelligence thing will change now that they've made a change at the management level.
He's right. You don't need Apple Intelligence now.
Right.
But you don't buy a laptop for only what's available now.
That don't. There's no Apple laptops made in the last 5 years that don't support Apple Intelligence. So you would have an Intel one, and you should probably upgrade that to an M1 anyway.
Yeah.
But I agree, you don't need it. Keep it turned off, actually, on this machine. Don't turn it on.
Richard Clark on Facebook said, Apple products sold by Walmart are always at the minimum end of the specs. I would want at least a 512 gigabyte SSD, preferably 1 terabyte. The 8 gigabytes of memory is okay. Photo or video editing would be better with 16 gigs.
Yes.
We agree with that.
Yeah, if it was 16 gigs of RAM, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
at that price.
Peter Hillman on Facebook said that the article that I wrote left out the storage configuration. The M1 MacBook Air has only 256 gigabyte SSD. It's not a good value for a 5-year-old Mac. And
wait, you didn't write that? Are you sure?
No, and I kind of purposely left that out because there are ways to work around that.
Sure.
And I didn't want to dive.
True.
Yeah, and I didn't want to dive into that. You can use cloud storage, you can use external storage.
Yeah.
And then some people don't even need 256 gigabyte. Oh, that's a segue. As Calvin Barkin said on Facebook, he got it for his girlfriend, who only does word processing and web browsing for school. She does zero graphics or storage heavy task.
Yeah.
So some people, 256 is just fine. It wouldn't work for me. It wouldn't work for you guys.
Hold on. I want to look at what I have used. I have a M3 Max with a terabyte, and I have 800 gigabytes remaining. So 256 would be pretty close.
You'd be close,
but it would be all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm using this MacBook Pro. It has a 1 terabyte, and I have 361 gigabytes available. So I wouldn't be able to. That's because I have a lot of. I actually could probably offload a lot of videos.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, you can always make it work.
Right.
But if you're just doing, like, unless you're storing music, movies, what takes up most of your drive?
It is.
It's got to be something.
It's mostly videos. So, like the podcast that takes up, several gigabytes of space. So, and I do end up offloading them, but I keep them on my laptop for a period of time just in case I need to go back to it for some whatever reason. So, but yeah, it's a viable laptop for some people. I mean, you can say that about every product.
Right, yeah. Like at some point you have to make a recommendation and,
Yeah. And
my recommendation would be, if it wasn't for that Amazon deal knocking $250 off every configuration of M4 MacBook Air. Like if it wasn't for that, I'd be like, wow, what a killer deal. But now that exists, I'd be like, well, either get that or just hold on and see what the cheap MacBook is. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah. I agree with that. But we don't know for sure that's coming, but we think it's coming. But cheaper thing.
Wait till March to find out and then buy what you need to buy.
Do you guys think
Amazon has an unlimited supply of these things, so it'll still
Will this Walmart laptop still be around in March?
That's what we were just saying. Like, I mean, they clearly have a.
Yeah.
It might be. Yeah.
I'm curious if they're going to run out around the Christmas season or something. I keep expecting this thing just to sell out, just to be like, when is it?
I thought it would be gone 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
and every time they cut it, that little thing at the top says 1,000 plus sold in the past day. Like they said, Again, I don't know how accurate that is, but
I think that's just made up.
Maybe.
I want to see if they revise that number after the holidays for people who return the laptop because it just doesn't have enough storage or enough RAM or whatever. So how many people return that laptop?
You think that they have 1,000 of them and they just keep circling? People buy them and return them. Someone else buys them.
It's just the same 1,000 laptops over and over.
Okay, that does it for this episode of the Macworld Podcast, episode 961. Thanks to Jason Cross.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roman.
Thank you, sir.
And thanks to you, the audience, for tuning in. You can subscribe to the Macworld Podcast in the podcast app, Spotify, YouTube, at the Macworld Podcast channel, or through any other podcast app. Comments and questions. Did you buy an M1 MacBook Air and do you work at Walmart? One of those two things. Let us know.
Yes.
Contact us through Blue Sky, Facebook, Threads, podcast at macworld.com. And, just find a way to get in touch with us. And join us in the next episode of the Macworld Podcast where we talk about everything. I thought I had this down.
So close.
I thought I had it. Join us in the next episode of the Macworld Podcast as we talk about the latest in the world of Apple. See you next time.